1866, and up to about into the 1920s, black folk had the greatest economic achievement they've ever had in this country. Even though it didn't occur under integration, it occurred under segregation. Those black folk had managed to acquire over 20 million acres of land, according to the United States Census in 1920. 20 million acres of land. But between the 1920s and 1950s, they lost almost all of it. Back in the 1920s and up to 1940s, we had black broom factories, we had black mattress factories. Almost every black major city had at least 2 cab companies. We had black bus companies. We had black shipyard up here in Baltimore. So when I say black bus lines, I'm not talking about just having 3 or 4 buses. We had over 500 buses, and this is in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And our bus company didn't just service just the black neighborhoods; it serviced the blacks and the white neighborhoods. We had 2 black cab companies. We had the Harris Cab Companies and the Kansas City Cab Companies. But they used to have their own restaurants. They had the best nightclubs in the country. The blacks had 2 baseball leagues. Each baseball league had 8 teams. We had over 500 of the best baseball players in the world. But what did they do? They want to integrate. So as soon as they put Jackie Robinson on the Brooklyn Dodgers, black folks said, we'll give up all of our black baseball leagues, black teams, and all our black players, and we can just get 1 black boy to play on a white team. So black folks stripped themselves of all their resources. They stripped themselves of their unity. They stripped themselves of their role models when all blacks used to live together. Then they had their own role models. All the doctors and lawyers and teachers with the blacks lived all together. You had a sense of community. You knew each other. You trusted each other. You worked with each other. You participated with each other. You learned how to buy from each other, to sell each other, to support each other, to care about each other, to love each other. When black folk up into integration, blacks never locked their home.
Honey, these people are just bothered, okay? They are just bothered that we're not worried about them. Now, I recently came across this video on TikTok of this king explaining segregation and pretty much separation as well, and just who benefits from what the most. Now, what he said is nothing but truth, because they out here trying to make us mad and get in our feelings, and we here just learning and seeing things for what it is. Take a look and we'll talk.
People don't really want segregation. Segregation is drawing a line in the sand where black people live on this side and white people live on that side. They don't want segregation. They want selective segregation, servitude, and unfair treatment. Segregation is what happened to Black Wall Street. See, that's what they don't want. Here's the big difference. Racists want you to live where they put you, and they want you to work towards the advancement of their society over here. So we want you to live here, but work in the coal mines, in the fields, and work in the construction and the hard labor. And then when you get done, leave over where we are and go stay where we told you to stay. And also, we want unfair treatment. Look up to us as we look down on you. But the second we start having our own banks, having our own doctors, having our own farms, letting the money that we create inside our community continue to circulate inside our community and build our own community up, that's an issue. That's why Black Wall Street gets burned down, because what we're doing over here doesn't benefit what they're doing over here. Like, I gotta build my own thing up. No, we want people low enough on the totem pole financially and educational wise that we can use them to be the burden bearers of our society. That extends past.
Did he lie? I mean, did he lie though? He explained it perfectly. The thing is, they thought we were going to be out here outraged and mad, and many of us are perfectly fine with separation, segregation, or anything that involves us being without them. We see sometimes the hassle that comes with them and just how much they've been holding us back. Now, imagine trying to make us mad, and we sitting here watching you just suffer more in the process. I mean, it's giving clown behavior and desperation. Now, one of the things about Trump being in office is that we get to see the truth. Now, a lot of people don't like that, but I give credit where it's due, and I also talk about them when need to be. So the thing is, we get to see the truth. You know, my daddy used to say, I would rather have an honest enemy than a fake friend. And Malcolm X himself pretty much let us know beforehand that, you know, both parties are the same. You know, of course, one pretends to be a friend and the other just, you know, doesn't care about pretending. Now, Trump's party just doesn't care about pretending. It is what it is. And Democrats, they all about pretending. That's why they so mad that many of us are waking up. But Trump is also a businessman. He seems to care about his notoriety, of course, being petty. And I really think that if approached the right way, he about his money too. Now, let's try to put some things in perspective here. Now, you see, integration was not about them really accepting us, because they never really accepted us, still don't. It was about them seeing all the money that we had circulating in our community. You see, a lot of them folks downplayed just how powerful we are and our economic power. Now, we were supposed to be struggling without them during segregation, and the truth is, we were not. I mean, we had, poor Black people, of course, but there were hundreds, and I do mean hundreds, of Black business districts all across the U.S. And they didn't realize it until those places were built. And that's when they decided to integrate. They never integrated with us. Unfortunately, guys, we just integrated with them. And now look at all the problems that we have. I mean, just look around you. Do you really think integration helped us? We still having issues in our schools. We still having issues with crime. We still having issues with getting laws passed and, just lack of justice. All because there were many of our ancestors, not all, who were so excited about being able to go to their schools or their businesses. And we gave up pretty much everything. And we watched our community collapse. And that's just the honest truth that a lot of people don't want to accept, or they get offended because, the truth does hurt sometimes. And a lot of the problems that we have now, like the programming or some of that, crime or, our businesses struggling with no capital because we, got to get help from their banks. Our schools, are no more. So our babies got to be educated by them and their curriculum and their, their standards. Look around. Was it really worth it? So our businesses struggling and the little bit of crime we have, those are symptoms of the problem. Now, again, I never said Trump was perfect. I said the beauty of him being in office is we get to see the truth. And I think it's definitely possible to get a few things out of Trump if we really push for it. You guys, I don't think the CBC asks for anything. And some of our elders don't ask for anything. The more I learned, Dr. Claud talked about quid pro quo. You do something for me, I do something for you. Not you vote and get nothing. So with that being said, I think we can definitely get something out of Trump if we ask. Maybe not everything, but you got to see what you can get out of it. I don't expect him to just do anything out of the kindness of his heart. I mean, the man still has racist tendencies, just like many other presidents and their ancestors. Okay? All right. Now, Lyndon B. Johnson, he signed the Civil Rights Act. He used the N-word more than we ever could. Or Abe Lincoln, white supremacist tendencies as well. Or you can call him white supremacist if you want. They love saying he freed the slaves. No, he didn't free it out of the kindness of his heart. But our ancestors got something out of the deal. He just didn't want the U.S. to split. So I try not to get so caught up into my emotions that I can't see the bigger picture like that versus majoring, in the minors. It's all about what we can get out of the deal. And to be specifically honest, again, I said it in previous videos, we shouldn't be trusting any party anyway, and we shouldn't be loyal to any party anyway in particular. I would suggest understanding and remembering, that these people may not agree with each other when it comes to party lines publicly, but behind the scenes, they're all friends. And they come together when they feel like they're going to benefit. For example, that Asian hate crime bill, almost all of them, voted together, quote unquote, to protect the Asians. But they couldn't get anything done for us. And I don't know where the CBC was, because if I was a politician, I would have never voted for it. I would have told them straight up, either you tack my people on that hate crime bill because they've been going through things for centuries, or you're not getting the vote. And honey, they need black people. So they would have done it. That's why I say I don't know if our people even ask, and most likely not, because they're into symbolism. We ask for a hate crime bill, they give us Juneteenth. So yeah, separation and segregation is looking real good. Anything without them is looking real good now. And even the bootlicks, let them stay right over there. Now, for those who want to see the truth, let's really take our emotions out of it. I mean, just take the emotion out of it for just a moment. Did Trump create any policies that have damaged our community like Biden? Or is he just saying things that you don't like? Are the things that he's doing now really affecting our community? I mean, based on what I'm seeing, everything Trump is doing right now is affecting them folks. Many of them are hurting. And a few of the other groups, of course, they're illegals. But what is really happening with us right now that he's doing so bad to us? Or do you just feel the need to put the cape on for everybody else when everybody else don't put the cape on for us? Even the illegals, they were mad when he first got into office. And many of them came up here talking about, oh, well, you're next. No, we were first. That's why we tried to warn y'all and y'all didn't listen. So now here we are. That's why you're seeing all of them folks protesting and crying all over. See, they're used to being in control and acting a plumb fool because they don't have control. Trump don't care about them either. Now, for me, I said, let them keep acting a fool. I'm going to sit here, watch, and enjoy being on vacation, because that's what we are on, vacation. The same way they watched us get arrested and turn a blind eye when we discussed what we were going through about racism. They didn't want to hear it. So now I'm not trying to hear what you got going on. Okay? I'm not. Now back to separation and segregation. I'm all for this. Y'all, I used to think my daddy was crazy when he would say we were so much better off and we had more. But the truth is, the more mature I become and the more I research, he was right. He was right. We had more. A lot more businesses and industries. Y'all, we had black downtowns and black business districts all over the country. In hundreds. Now, I want to say this. At that time, our ancestors, they only thought of 3 places as Black Wall Street. Not every place. And those 3 places that were known as Black Wall Streets then were in Richmond, Virginia, Jackson Ward, Durham, North Carolina, and Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Every place else were considered black districts and downtowns. Either one or the other. My grandmother always says downtowns, and my daddy always said districts. So I always got, I use both. And we had hundreds of them. And the math was mathing, okay, for black people back then. And what was so beneficial about that is they were all in one area, which is extremely helpful to be in one area. Nobody wants to drive all the way across town, for the next business, that you want to go to. You want everything in one area. I mean, now we have to. But back then, oh, no, we didn't have to do all that. Everything was in one area. You see, them folks didn't want to be around us, so we were always relegated to one area. And when you have black businesses, all in one area, it's just convenient. And you guys, I'm so jealous now that many of our ancestors got to, experience this, because my daddy would talk about how, on a Friday or Saturday night, never Sunday, because grandma had to go to church on Sundays, okay? But on a Friday or Saturday night, they'd go, to dinner with live music. My grandmother would maybe pick up, laundry in the nearby building. Like, everything was in one area. Black-owned theaters, banks, grocery stores. I mean, we were all in one area. Just pick up everything. Now, we have plenty of black businesses, but we're also scattered a little more, and we have to find more of our businesses because we have, unfortunately integrated, We have to look a little more. However, people are slowly making, directories and things for us. So before, if you went into a town, you pretty much knew where the black section was because everything was all together. That's just the gist of it. Now we're just kind of all over the place and we're trying to survive. We have to go through their banks for capital. Before, you could literally, and I do mean literally, get a loan from a black bank. I'm going to do a video on Jackson Ward and Miss Maggie Walker. She's one of the first black women to actually run a bank. And y'all, it was just surreal what we were able to do separated from them. And I also want to say, I'm not here to knock what many of our ancestors did with integration because, that's not my style. I just align more with the ancestors who didn't want to integrate. Now, Democratic shields or people who worry or put the cape on for everybody else, they're not going to see the beauty in any type of separation from them folks or, segregation from them folks. But honey, I do. We were able to use our own money toward our own people and create our own communities, even beaches, even amusement parks. You guys, we were just so dope, Now, I can see why some of the bootlicks will be offended by this when I think about it. It's going to cut their money off. But if you really know your history, you would know that black people had 10 times more when we were cut off from them folks. And we were also able to focus on ourselves. And that's kind of what I believe we're doing now. A lot of us are realizing they need us. We never needed them. They got all the government handouts, even though they try to make us the face of it. We got it out the mud and made use of the little we had. Here, they're whining about the smallest thing. That's how poppin' Black Freedmen really are. We are truly poppin'. And again, while I don't agree with everything our ancestors did, we can take a lesson from a lot of things they did do right. You're never going to agree 100% of the time. Never with anybody. But you can always find the positive in something. Them being laser focused on themselves produced hundreds of black areas. Hundreds. Y'all, I have a t-shirt that I'm creating because I made a map in my home of just the cities and I ran out of room of all the black, not towns, but the black downtowns. It's crazy. And it's my hope that us focusing on ourselves now and not feeling sorry for everybody else, that'll help us. And we can go back to producing more industries and successful businesses for, ourselves. Now I've went on long enough, okay? So I'm going to conclude. I'm a little passionate about black business districts and, of course, our history. But anyway, tell me what you think below. Do you think segregation for black freedmen was a good thing or was it a bad thing? Be sure to like and subscribe, guys. Take care. Now, speaking of segregation and having all of our businesses in one area, here are 4 black business districts and communities that are actually hidden in plain sight and, of course, erased from history books. Now, of course, we had way more than 4. But this is not a book. We had hundreds all across the country. And let's be clear. At that time, black people had 3 places that they only considered Black Wall Street, but they had hundreds of black business districts. There is a major difference. The Brooklyn community in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, Brooklyn community was a black business district in the 2nd ward to be exact. The black area consisted of schools, funeral homes, dozens of restaurants, churches, doctor and dental offices, and much more. Unfortunately, due to redlining, the area's more than 200 black businesses and more were destroyed. Now, about 1,400 structures now lie under Charlotte government buildings, Marshall Park, the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and more. York Hill and Seneca Village underneath Central Park. Now, Seneca Village was a thriving black community, and our black ancestors there began purchasing land there for $125 a lot. Now, they would grow this into a black community of homes, businesses, gardens, schools. They raised livestock there and churches. Now, Central Park has taken place of all of this. Now, before Central Park, most people don't know that before that was there, our ancestors there had already been removed from another black community before they relocated to Central Park. That community was called York Hill. And York Hill was a black area that was destroyed to make New York City's first city-owned, operated water drinking system. Freedmen Village in Virginia. Now, in the 1800s, Freedmen Village was a thriving black community filled with newly freed slaves in Arlington, Virginia. Now, black Americans there, fresh out of slavery, used half of their earned paychecks to create a self-sufficient community with its own hospitals, schools, business, churches, and more. Now, the property that once was there sits beneath the Arlington National Cemetery and the Pentagon. The other nearby black community of Queens City now sits underneath its parking lot. Black Bottom in Detroit, Michigan. Now, Black Bottom was a black business district and community that reached up to 200,000 black people in just one area. Now, black residents there had their daily needs met with more than 300 black-owned businesses, again, in one area. Now, these businesses consisted of drugstores, restaurants, doctors' offices, barbershops, grocery stores, hotels, and more. However, after the 1960s, Black Bottom and what was then known as Paradise Valley, another black area, now sit underneath what is parts of Lafayette